to-do list is to incorporate so my next item on the to-do list is to incorporate. What's wrong? Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alicia Nicole. Today's video is specifically targeted, really everyone in the natural community can benefit from it, but I'm talking to my situation, which was transitioning with low porosity, severely heat damaged hair. And I thought I would talk about some of the do's, don'ts, and myths that I came across in my journey. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to share what I have gained thus far. Now, I do not claim to be an expert on it at all. There are so many other people that have a lot more knowledge and a lot more experience. But a lot of what I'm sharing today is going to be what I observed in my hair and what I got from some of these other like beauty and natural hair bloggers. So I highly recommend that if you see one that you disagree with or you want to know more, to at least go to that part of the video and hear how I explain it further. What else did I want to say? I have to get all my disclaimers out there. Yeah. Again, this is what I have found to be true. Now, some of the things that I'm going to talk about in the myth section, I'm not saying you shouldn't do them. I'm not saying you shouldn't see how it works for you, but the reason why they're there is because I have found that you can still experience growth and get your curls back and health and moisture and all that stuff without those things. So that's what I mean by a myth, is that like these are not really essential to transitioning, right? So I haven't actually talked about my full transitioning journey. Maybe I will. If you guys would like to hear about that, let me know. But I'm going to start with what not to do. Some of the things that I did that really slowed me down. For those of you that are just tuning into one of my videos, it took me, I don't know, probably like 3 years really to transition. Um, I started, it's all so blurry now. I remember as a freshman in college, my hair looked like this, and it was terrible. But I know my freshman year I wasn't really doing anything to try to change that. It was just, I was still straightening my hair like every 2 weeks. My sophomore year is when I think I became more interested in my curls, but my hair was still in very bad shape. Like, here's one of the pictures that I remember from that point in time, where you can see there's a lot of damage, like maybe 60% of my hair was damaged or more. And I don't know if I had really started then, but I know for a fact that my junior year, I was very serious about, well, very serious about trying to get my curls back, but I didn't really know how, so I made a lot of these rookie mistakes. So it really wasn't until my senior year, I'm a super senior now, so it wasn't until my senior year when I had a routine, I had products, I had everything down to really give my hair its best chance. So that's just a little bit of my background, so let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I would say to avoid at all costs is color treating your hair. I did this 3 times during my transitory period. 2 were not legitimate, 1 was halfway legitimate. Excuse me. The first time, I can't even remember which was first, but I did go to a salon and I got highlights. Mind you, this was not a diva salon, not anyone familiar with curly hair at all. They just kind of did what they do their normal way. And my hair wasn't terrible after that, but you could definitely, like, it didn't really help push me in the direction that I was wanting to go. The second time, this is so bad. Do not do this ever. I actually did it myself. I didn't even get any real coloring from the hair store or anything. I mixed baking soda and peroxide. It was like sandy brown. I'm gonna see if I have a picture of that. If I do, I will go ahead and insert it here. And so it was super pretty, but it was so damaging on my hair, and I don't even think I like deep conditioned after, because I wasn't even that serious about deep conditioning. And then the third time I did it with henna, which I don't think I recall having any minor or any major setbacks with that. But the reason why I used the henna was because a lot of people say like, oh, henna's like really moisturizing, you know, it helps your hair and it's good for your hair, it's healthy for your hair. But when I put it on my hair, I didn't really notice any of that. My hair did feel a little bit drier afterwards, but it was not nearly to the extent that it had been before. So anyway, all of this is to say that yes, there are ways to color your hair that are better for curly hair than others. Want to be able to get past that awkward transitory stage as quickly as possible, I would completely avoid all color treatment. Okay, now the second one, I would say avoid all heat styling. Now, this is my opinion, and there are tons and tons of people who have straightened their hair, you know, throughout their transitory period, just to try to see, you know, how long it is, and that's fine. If you would like to go that route, you can do that. Again, I just think you can maximize your results if you avoid heat until you are done transitioning. Um, because it's like already putting a potentially harmful element into your hair situation when it's already weak. During your transition, it can set you way back, and it did for me for sure. It's just not a good idea to do that at this point in your hair journey. I would just wait until you're completely transitioned so you can have the best results as possible. All right, number 3, low manipulation hairstyles. The more you have your hands in your hair, the more it's prone to break off while you're manipulating it, and just to disturb your hair's natural environment. Okay, but in general, the more time you can spend leaving your hair alone and not messing with it every day, the better. So here's another thing that you should not do. Don't assume that all texture and frizz is damage. That was a mistake that I made. I cut my hair very, very short, as I showed in another one of my videos, and it really didn't need to be cut that short. I was just so gung-ho and eager to get all of the textured hair out, because if you're not sure if it's actually damaged, I wouldn't recommend just going and saying, oh, just cut it all out, because that can really set you back as far as length is concerned. It really did for me. And this kind of goes hand in hand with my next tip, which is if whatever you're doing is not showing any progress by about the 6-month mark, I would go and see a professional. So, of course, there are going to be way, way, way more tips and tricks about how to maximize your experience transitioning. These were the main ones that I was able to think of. Now I'm going to transition into what to do when you are transitioning. So for one, deep conditioning every week is essential. I was not doing this early on in my routine, and it made a big, big difference. Deep conditioning is something that it doesn't work instantaneously, but once it starts working, it has a huge impact on the overall health and condition of your hair. And that effect within the last 4 months or so is when I've really started being able to do wash and goes. So putting in that moisture is key. Okay. The second step would be to keep a spray bottle that has a mixture of water and leave-in conditioner and spray your hair every single day. I found that a much more effective way to get water into your hair externally is just the spray method, because it keeps your hair soft, it refreshes your hairstyle the next day, it definitely extends a wash and go, and your hair does suck in that water. So number 3 is protective styling. I did styles. What did I do? You know, before I really had my hair curly where I could wear it down, I would do a bun for a couple of days maybe, or like the space buns, 2 of those. Halo braids are really, really, really good. because it helps to try to keep your hair kind of detangled as well, so that the next time you brush through it is not crazy. Um, Mini twists. I never did them. Regular trimming or cutting if necessary. So getting your hair trimmed, my diva stylist told me once per season. So the last time I saw her was mid-August. I got a trim and she said come back around December and that should be fine. And so I did. That regular trimming is so important, because you want to get that damage out of your hair as soon as possible before it travels up your hair. And I mentioned cutting in this section as well, because sometimes, especially when you're transitioning, you do need to get a larger portion of hair out of your head. Um, I said earlier that, I was kind of unhappy with how short my hair had been cut, but truthfully, I went too far up, right? So I went into some of the healthy hair, but if I hadn't gotten all that damaged hair out, I definitely would not be able to have the progress that I've had now with how much growth I have achieved. In the past 4 months, I have been able to achieve over an inch of growth per month. And I can insert a picture here just to show you guys. And that has just come from, getting rid of the damaged hair. And okay, now, so my next item on the to-do list is to incorporate supplements or other growth products. A lot of people are skeptical about if supplements have a major impact on, hair growth, and some people say like you can't make your hair grow any faster than it naturally does. Yes, genetics determines the maximum growth that you can experience in a month. However, if you are lacking in certain vitamins or certain, nutrients that hair needs to grow, you're not going to be experiencing whatever your max is, right? And so if it's in your budget to do that, I would recommend you do so. And if the more expensive products like Hair Affinity are not in your budget, then you're better off taking something. So I would say go to Walmart and get, the Walmart brand supplements that are for hair, skin, and nails. They come in different concentrations of biotin. That's always going to be better than nothing. Right, so the next thing on my list is a healthy diet and water consumption. Now, if I'm being honest, I told you I experienced over 4 inches of growth in the past 3 months, or in 3 months. If I'm being honest, I wasn't actually eating a very healthy diet. I was eating ramen, like my diet was 60% ramen probably, and some of the food from like my calf on campus. So, you should always eat a healthy diet. I do not endorse eating that much ramen at all. I kind of want to experiment with that in the new year and just see how I can further boost my overall health by supporting it with a healthy diet. But I was definitely drinking a lot of water, and that is always going to be essential, because even though you can spray your water on your hair and get it in there externally, it's really, really good to have it internally. And when you have, and now I'm going to talk about the myths. Okay, now I'm going to say it again, so no one says I claim to be the authority or that you should not try any of these things. If you feel inclined to try them, go ahead and try them. I am simply saying none of these are necessary for your transitioning, right? And they are all things that I have tried before. Okay, so the first two kind of go hand in hand. The first myth is that adding a lot of oil to your routine will moisturize your hair. That is not true. Moisturizing products are going to be those who have water as the first or second ingredient. Oil is important to your overall hair routine because it is a sealant. Once you get the moisture into your hair, you want to seal it in with an oil, right? And so this goes with the second myth, and that is based on hot oil treatments. I tried hot oil treatments for a month. I would do it once a week, and I saw absolutely no improvement in the health of my hair, like none at all. If anything, my hair would look good while it was dripping wet with oil, and then as soon as the oil had like dried up, it was back to its like dry, unmanageable, you know, normal condition. And my hair actually usually felt drier afterwards. And I think it might have to do with the fact that when your hair is all sopped up with oil, whatever moisturizing products you put on there, it's not getting in. Now, there's a difference between if you're doing like a hot oil growth serum or growth product and putting it on your scalp and just massaging it in there. I believe that could be very effective. But if you just want to get like oil or moisture into your hair shaft, hot oil treatments are not the way to do it. Third is that it is a good idea to incorporate moderate levels of heat styling. Now, if you are finding that it's working for you, go ahead, keep going. I'm not going to stop you. If you are still using heat, especially when you have very damaged hair, you have very brittle hair, you have dry hair, and you have low porosity hair, adding heat into that equation when your hair is not healed and healthy is not a good idea in my opinion. And when I stopped using heat altogether, I saw a major difference in the health of my hair, and I was able to get my curls back really quickly. Next is this whole idea of like rinsing with cold water to retain moisture. There may be some truth to that, but if it is not substantial enough to have a long-term effect on the moisture and the health of your hair. I tried it for a month, didn't really see any difference in my hair, and I haven't done it since. I have been rinsing with warm water for several months now, and I like the condition of my hair. Next is, I have it listed here as fads, but the only one that I could think of, it's probably hot oil treatment, I guess, was a fad as well. But like this whole rice water fad. Now, there have been some people that appear to have had major results with that. So I'm not going to downplay their results at all. I'm so happy that it worked for them. But I did try it for a month and I didn't experience anything major. I had like the regular half an inch per month growth. Um, I believe that rice water can be effective maybe if you are like severely protein deficient. Because again, like I said earlier, when your hair is missing certain nutrients, you're not going to maximize your growth. So maybe for that small percentage of people who just don't have enough protein in their hair, it could have an effect. For most people, it's not going to be, all that effective. You can give it a try still and see how it works for you, but you can definitely achieve your goals without participating in that whole rice water thing. And it has to do with protective styling. And the myth is that protective styling is the best way to grow your natural hair. Now, earlier I mentioned protective styling being effective, so it definitely is, but it's not always the best way for everybody. I actually, when I visited my diva stylist and she just looked at my hair and assessed it, she said that I would actually probably have better luck, doing like wash and goes than always like putting my hair in braids and twists. Okay, this is getting on my nerves. I don't know what's up with my hair. But anyway, some people actually experience more breakage because their hair may be more fine or more sensitive, or your hair might get extremely, extremely dry even when you're adding moisturizing products to it. If you're finding that to be the case with your hair, then that means that those protective styles that you keep in for maybe a month or a month and a half or however long are not the way your hair best grows, and you actually may do better with just putting your natural hair into styles like the halo braids, like I mentioned, or wash and goes, or buns. But I don't want. And when I learned that, I started doing those styles less often, and I started seeing more growth in my hair than I did before. I would have a lot of hair coming out and shedding when I would do those styles and then, take them out, and I was getting concerned. But after I started limiting how often I do them, I started seeing major results. So you don't have to stop completely because they are very pretty. They're beautiful hairstyles, but maybe just not as often. Okay, So these are the do's, the don'ts, and the myths that I was able to come up with. If you guys have anything else you want to add or anything I might have forgotten or left out, go ahead and leave it down below so that others can see what you have to share. And again, all of these are just what I have experienced with my hair. It may be different for you, but a lot of them are pretty universal. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what other content you'd like to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends. All right, thanks guys.